was about the countries fighting for the sky. Part 3 is about the countries who don't even control their own ground. Because while the superpowers build constellations, most nations are discovering something uncomfortable, brutal, and should be very worrying. They don't own their tech. They don't own their networks. They don't own their satellites. And they don't own their future. Europe depends on American platforms. The UK depends on American cloud. India is playing every side to buy time. Africa has no leverage at all. And Starlink? It doesn't matter who bans it. Works anyway. Welcome to the new non-alignment. A world where sovereignty is optional, and dependence is the default. The UK and EU's dependency reality is painful. No global platforms, Facebook, Google, Amazon. All American. No dominant chip industry. TSMC in Taiwan, Intel in the US, Samsung in Korea. No mega constellations in orbit, Starlink, Kuiper, Gwang. None European. No sovereign cloud, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud dominate. No large-scale AI infrastructure, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind. Even DeepMind is owned by Alphabet. Europe has Galileo, a navigation system, but not a communications network. The UK has OneWeb, but it's small, fragile, and dependent on foreign launchers. On paper, they're powers. In reality, they're vassals. Europe's strength is regulation. GDPR, the Digital Markets Act, the Digital Services Act. But every time Brussels tries to assert sovereignty, Washington pushes back instantly. Not through diplomacy, but through companies. Apple threatens to pull iMessage. Meta threatens to withdraw services. Amazon warns of consequences. Europe writes the laws. America owns the systems those laws apply to. That's not sovereignty. That's dependence with paperwork. Europe and the UK are discovering the hardest truth of all. You can regulate the platforms. You can regulate the apps. But if you don't own the infrastructure, you don't own the future. If Europe is discovering its dependence, India is doing everything it can to avoid that fate. India is the world's most important non-aligned actor, not because it avoids alliances but because it cultivates them all. Be a founding member of BRICS, working with China, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa. Be a partner in Quad alongside the US, Japan, and Australia. Buying Russian energy at discount. Welcoming Western investment in chips, cloud, and AI. And maintaining deep economic ties with China, even while competing with it. India isn't confused. It's hedging, extracting benefits from every bloc while committing to none. India knows dependence is fatal, so it's building its own stack. UPI, a payment system more advanced than anything in the West. Or Aadhaar, the world's largest digital ID system. India Stack, a national digital infrastructure layer. HESO, lean sovereign satellite programs. A data localization laws, forcing foreign companies to play by Indian rules. India's doctrine is clear. We'll work with you, but we won't depend on you. India has not approved Starlink. It hasn't banned it either. It's waiting, watching, negotiating leverage. Because India understands. If Starlink becomes the global default, every country without its own constellation becomes a tenant in someone else's empire. India refuses to be a tenant. India knows it cannot match the US or China today. Not in satellites, not in chips, not in cloud, not in AI. So it's doing the smartest thing possible. Stay friendly with the US. Stay connected to Russia. Stay economically tied to China. Stay politically aligned with the global south. Stay strategically independent. India is buying time. Time to build the capacity it currently lacks. Time to become a pole in a multipolar world. India isn't non-aligned. India is pre-aligned, aligned with the future version of itself. A future where it is not a tenant in someone else's empire, but a power in its own right. If Europe is dependent and India is hedging, Africa is experimenting with every possible alignment at once. Africa is not one bloc, it's a mosaic of alignments. South Africa and Ethiopia, firmly inside BRICS, aligning with China and Russia. In Nigeria, the most populous nation, technically a BRICS partner, but hedging between US investment, Chinese infrastructure and regional independence. Sahel states, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, openly aligning with Russia, rejecting Western influence. Kenya and Ghana, once close to the US, now hedging toward China for infrastructure, loans and digital systems. Africa is not non-aligned. Africa is multi-aligned, shifting constantly depending on who offers the most leverage. Many African nations have banned Starlink. Others are negotiating with Starlink. Some are considering Starlink. But the truth is simple. It doesn't matter. Starlink turns on above their territory, it works. If terminals cross the border, it works. If a neighboring country allows it, it works. Local governments can regulate the ground. They cannot regulate the sky. For the first time in history, a communications network can operate inside a country without the country's permission. And that strips governments of their most basic sovereign power, control over information. The wider global south faces the same trap. Latin America, balancing US platforms with Chinese hardware. Southeast Asia, hedging between American cloud and Chinese apps. A Middle East, buying Russian weapons, American chips and Chinese networks. Everywhere the same pattern. Dependence without sovereignty. The global south is discovering that in the orbital age, sovereignty is optional. You can ban Starlink. You can negotiate with Starlink. You can resist Starlink. But you cannot stop Starlink. And that means you cannot stop the empire behind it. Africa and the global south are not choosing sides. They're being chosen. Because in a world where the internet lives in orbit, local sovereignty doesn't matter anymore. And what about the one institution meant to protect sovereignty? The United Nations. The UN was built for borders, treaties and land disputes. It was not built for private satellite constellations, orbital internet or commercial actors with more power than states. There is no framework, no enforcement, no consensus. The UN can't regulate what it can't reach. And orbit is already beyond its grasp. The first digital empires were built on land. The second were built in orbit. And now the rest of the world is discovering the hardest truth of all. In the age of orbital internet, sovereignty is optional. And dependence is the default. My name is Cora Duncussing. If you have liked any of the videos in this series, please give them a big thumbs up, and maybe consider subscribing if you like this style of reporting. Until next time, this was People for People and the Empire Report, breaking the narrative. People for people. People for people. People for people. People for people.